thoughts as usual, with everybody. Is there one of the borders opening to Ghana? Well, for now, we can't really say when exactly will be opened, but we're trusting that by August it should be open. Hopefully, by August the Ghana borders should be open. Hopefully, so yes, we're hopeful. But at least by December, we're 100% sure, or hopeful that by December at least everything will be opened back up. So I just want to talk about a subject that is a little tricky, and it has to do with African Americans specifically. Okay, so I'm dealing with African Americans to be specific. So now other Black people outside of Africa, of course, we have our own, leeway or sentiments when it comes to Africa and the borders. So I want to address access into Africa. African Americans from the outside having access into Africa. Not just, of course, Africa as a continent and different countries thereof. I just want to touch on that briefly. I'm not staying long here, but I want to touch on that because I think it's very key. I believe that as of now, the African continent as a whole and its member states, when it comes to the borders and African Americans having access into the countries in terms of, being able to settle and also being able to do business, I believe they've been dealt with quite unfairly. That's a reality. And this has been my personal thought and opinion for quite a long time. And today I thought I would just share briefly on that. I think that the African Union is making efforts, and other member states like Ghana and other parts are making efforts to be able to, to be able to get African Americans to be able to, integrate more or settle, not just visit, but settle and then also be able to do business easily. For now, it looks like it's very difficult. I'm telling you, it's difficult as compared to how easy it should be for them. Now, I'm dealing with African Americans specifically because other Africans in the diaspora or other Black people in the diaspora who have one way or the other a connection to either any part of Africa, either to Ghana, to Senegal, to Gambia, to South Africa, to Ethiopia, wherever, and maybe you want to get into Ghana and it's difficult. That's a different ball game. But for African Americans, they don't have any specific place they can easily identify with and say that, okay, I can trace myself to Egypt directly or to Senegal directly. So I'm going back to Senegal to find a way in. Or I'm from Senegal and I'm going to Ghana. That's a different ballgame for African Americans. So I believe that if anybody qualifies as an African American and they can demonstrate that they are African Americans, the African Union, and in fact, the member states like ECOWAS, the West African states, if an African American should decide that I want to go to Ghana, to Senegal, to Ethiopia to do business, they should have some regulations set up for African Americans that allows them to easily do that. Because as it stands now, it can be very tricky, and that discourages people from wanting to make that step, taking that further step of doing business beyond visiting. Because we're trying to get people to come to the continent, to settle, and also to do business. But of course, it starts with the visit part. But if the people visit, and of course, the people are welcoming and friendly and everything, but the system doesn't allow them to easily make the move, it discourages them. When they go, they don't come back. But these are brothers and sisters that need to be back home to identify with a place and say, I'm moving to go here. But then the processes in some of the African countries are too cumbersome that I think the AU, the African Union, must step in. And when it comes to the West African states, an organization like the ECOWAS must step in and say, when it comes to African Americans, descendants of our forefathers who were taken away, they should be able to go through ABCD. And they shouldn't be treated like any other person, whether it's a Caucasian or whoever that is coming in from the outside. And I think that would be a very huge encouraging factor for a lot of our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, especially African Americans, to be able to make that move. Because people want to move and settle. Even with all the barriers, I can tell you for a fact, when it comes to Ghana, there are a lot of African Americans that are making the transition. But I'm telling you, you could have a lot more people coming into the fray if all these things are actually checked. And I think we've not had this conversation. I know the AU did a few things, when recently when they have this AU office, in Washington, D.C. that is meant to be able to get African Americans to make the move more to the continent, to visit and all of that, to be part of the process, the African building of Africa by 2063 and all of that, which is good. It's encouraging, but beyond that, now they have to be able to get the member states like Gambia to say that, look, if anybody is able to identify as African Americans who don't have any direct connection to any other African country like Zambia, Ghana, or wherever, they should be able to follow these simple processes and they can be able to integrate. Once they check that this is somebody who is not coming to commit any type of crime or harmful, they should be able to have that easy flow, not go through the usual regular process, because these people have a historic background that they are coming from. So they cannot be treated like any other person, because that becomes a deterrent. Nobody wants, and if you look at the African continent as a whole, those that have very stringent processes, people don't like to go there when it comes to moving or relocating, better still, or building grounds, establishing some grounds, or setting up a business there. And that affects the continent as a whole. So I think that we have to begin to look at it. This is for African leaders more, of course, and for Africans who have a say-so or can add their voice to the African Union being able to make some changes that allows African Americans especially to easily be able to make a transition, either to settle or to do business, not just to visit, giving them a visa to visit for some time. No, they will have to be able to make an easy transition. And of course, my wife is African American, but I'm not saying this because my wife is one. No, but I know it is very crucial. She's married, so technically she can be able to have an easy access to a place like Ghana. But what of the African American who doesn't have a spouse in Africa? If they want to do business or they want to move and settle in Africa, why should it be so difficult for them to be able to do that when it's actually their birthright? Like my friend Jay Sherry is saying, it's their birthright. So we have to be able to give that to them. And so the African leaders in member states should be able to decide that. And Ghana, I think, is doing quite well, but we're not there yet. The processes are still too stringent. It has to be an easy way out. So every African American can get up and say, look, today I want to go to Ghana and I want to settle in Ghana for 10 years and put my money into Ghana. That's how Africa is going to develop. Tomorrow, one has to be able to say, I'm moving from South Carolina and I'm headed to the Gambia. And Gambia has systems in place that makes it easy for them to be able to make that move as and when they want, as African Americans. When you're from other African countries, that's a different ballgame. You already have a place called home in Africa, so you are different. So although the system should be able to favor other race and other people, I believe that African Americans should be able to have that special, treatment when it comes to coming to the continent to either live or do business. It's very, I'd say it's very personal for me. Very personal, because I feel like when you really go into history and you read a lot about the transitions, all the things that have happened, like it will be very unfair for a person. It's just like me, somehow happen to appear in China, and where I'm from has made it so difficult for me to be able to come back. Like, who does that? That's what is happening on the continent, and only few are very flexible to give people the chance to do that. But overall, I believe we have to be able, as a continent, as people of the continent, to be able to give room, especially for African Americans, to come and contribute to the development. If they want to live there, they should have that liberty, easy access to do that. Of course, you have to do your checks and balance. We make excuses that, how can we be sure this person is a good person? Yes, you can put system in place to check that this person who is coming is not a bad person. It's not coming. It's coming to contribute. And make it easy, because even when they ascertain, a lot of them, when they ascertain that you're still a good person, it's still so, there's a lot of hurdles to jump to be able to make it, which I think should not be the case. So I think that with time, we have to form like an alliance. I think there has to be an alliance. I'm sure maybe there are things like that going on already, but it has to be an alliance where we're going to have a common front, both the diaspora, and this is how one of the ways Africans can actually stand up for African Americans when it comes to their being able to make the move to settle and then be able to do business easily. Just as recently, this just dropped in my mind. When George Floyd passed, I saw a lot of people in Africa protesting for that. So yes. So when George Floyd was murdered, I saw a lot of people protesting in Africa. Now they were protesting for that, for what? For justice to happen in America and all of that. But what they should also be protesting, what we should be protesting in Africa also, is for our governments to be able to make it so easy for these people to be able to make the move. Because during this period, a lot of people want to make the move. But now several African countries have so much strict channels that you need to go through to be able to make that move. And I think it's very unfair to especially African Americans. It's very, very unfair. And the AU and ECOWAS, which are key players, and I know the East also have their own associations, they have to look into that. And I think individual member states, like places like Ghana, should also make the process a lot easier for African Americans to be able to make the transition, either to relocate, to live there, or to be able to do business without all the stringent processes. Once they check that this person passes to be good, it shouldn't be a difficult process for them. It should be they should be entitled to it, I think, to a large extent. Not entitled for land or anything, but at least entry. The ability to be able to enter and now decide, if you want to buy a land, we can deal with you like any other person. You go through the process. But the entry should not be stringent for me to be able to move in and be able to live or do business. I think African Americans should be looked at very carefully. I think if we start protesting, I'm telling you in Africa, that look, let our brothers and sisters have easy access to be able to make the move. Once your system is able to confirm that they're good, they're clean, and they want to have an impact in this place, they should easily be able to make the move and not go through all the stringent processes that we take them through. Let me see if I have some comments here. Today I'm not staying long here. Is that we should be considered refugees, just as those who have come to America and who have come to America and start new and start anew, considering how our ancestors came here. Yes, that's very, 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 very true. That's very true. I think I wouldn't look at it as refugees. Actually, African Americans should. They shouldn't even be considered as refugees. Honestly, they're way more than refugees. They're not refugees. This is something that, like, think about it. Like, this is so serious. Think about it. Like, if you come to my house and you take my uncle away, and my uncle is coming back, or my uncle's child is coming back, why should it be so difficult? Once you can demonstrate that this is a descendant of my uncle, like, why should I even be a refugee in the first place for you to accept me? It should be so easy for you to be able to transition me that the law says that anybody who is coming as a descendant of this uncle that came from this place should be able to have that easy access. It shouldn't be difficult. Once we're able to prove that this person is of good character, they are not come to cause harm to the country, they should be able to have access to get in. That's what we should be driving on. And Africans in Africa, if we want to know how we can be able to better align with our brothers and sisters from this side, that is one of the ways we can do that, by speaking out on the continent that, hey, African leaders, if you want us to vote for you to keep coming to power, you have to have a solid law that allows easy access for African Americans especially to get in. And when that happens, I think it will affect other Black people who are from other countries within the continent also to be able to make the journey. Of course, the African Union is trying when it comes to the business within the Continental Free Trade Agreement, where we can trade among ourselves easily, overlooking the borders that we have, that ties us from, that prevents us from easily trading among ourselves. That is helping economically from within the continent. But beyond that, externally, people coming from the outside, they should have that easy access as well to be able to navigate through. They should decide that Gambia is not working for me. I want to go to Ghana because we cannot pinpoint where exactly my uncle came from, and they came from Africa, and I can prove that I'm a descendant of African American, ancestors or origin. They should give me that easy process. And I think that I think the AU must take it up beyond the member states and say that, look, you guys must begin to incorporate this rules into your setup, that if the person is able to prove that they have good character and they have something to contribute to the continent, even if they don't and they have good character, I think they deserve to be able to have a very easy step to be able to get in, not all these cumbersome things. Let me read a few comments and I'll be out of your way. Somebody said, let me see. Let me see what I have here on Instagram. Mm, okay, just give me a few seconds. Hey, unapologetically cultured. Good to see you. Good to have you here, actually, because I can see you. Yeah, that's what I was saying. True. That's what you were saying. Yes, very true. I remember. Yeah, I said preach. I think we should have access to Ghana as people of African descent, just like the Jews have access immediately they turn 18. I think that's a very good point. African Americans must have access to the continent, not just Ghana, to the continent, wherever they choose. Just like, of course, Jews. I don't know what the Jews, their rules say, but once you're Jew and you're 18 years, you have access to the place. African Americans must have that. I think they deserve that. And we Africans in Africa must begin to fight for these things, because that's how we can begin to show solidarity, true solidarity, and not holding night vigils for people who have been killed. That's also good to show solidarity. But the reality is we need to go beyond that and do more. Because when we do that, I mean, they'll consider it a cliche. Like, I mean, how sincere are you? If you can't soften your laws that allows me to come in, and you're holding night vigils, how sincere are you? People think like that. So we're still not resolving the barrier between us that have been created that shouldn't be. So not just African American, but all people of African descent. That's true. Haitians, Jamaicans, Colombians. Unapologetically cultured. Forgive me. I think that's very key. Not just African Americans, but also people from the Caribbean. But you see, the Caribbean, the reason why normally I don't it's good, but they kind of have found a place called home already, because it's just them who have now settled at a place. So that makes a lot of difference. But for African Americans, think about it. Their case is a little different from people who are left in the Caribbean that eventually have established home and have touched base. It's good for them to be able to. I think Ghana, for instance, have a lot of alliance with other Caribbean countries where it becomes easy, because a lot of them are even visa free. You can easily come and go as and when you want. You don't even need a visa. So that makes it a lot easier for the Caribbeans. But yes, that's also true. They need to look at that. But African Americans, I think, for me, is very, very key. All diasporans. Yes, all diasporans. That's true. Yeah, but African Americans should have a certain type of preference. We can't run away from that. We've been running away from it, but we shouldn't keep running away from that. He said, do they make it complicated when African Americans get married to Ghanaians? No, they don't. When you're able to get married to a Ghanaian or anything, it becomes a lot easier. But I'm saying not everybody can get married to a Ghanaian. If everybody was getting married to Ghanaians, either the men or the women will finish. So I don't think that should be the basis for somebody having an easy access. They should be able to have proper, easy measures that can check that once a person qualifies to be of good character, and not a liability for the most part, they should be able to have that easy access. But yes, when you marry a Ghanaian, it becomes a lot easier, but that should never be the basis at all. At Certified Africa, please save this video so that we can please share. All right, I'll do that. I don't want it too long. I'll do that. Now, at Diaspora Affairs, they're doing a good job, but they need to do more. They need to do more. So not that we are refugees, but yes, okay, I get it. So just like refugees, true. I mean, we can consider it that way. If that's what it takes to be able to get them easy access. The same as Ghana is what? Finding ways for Ghana passport holders to come back in. So it would be nice that they help. Okay, yeah. So she's saying that same as Ghana is trying to figure out a way to get people, with for Ghana passport holders to come back. Yes, people who have Ghanaian passports that have left for a very long time, they're finding a way to get them to come back. The same thing should be happening to African Americans. I think it's very key and positive. So that's very true. It's like, yes, Haiti is part of the African Union. Yes. So you see the Caribbeans, it makes it a lot easier. Let me see, I have some comments here as well. So I was reading about how it's even difficult for people who are citizens. Let me put it on my screen. Okay, so I was reading about how it is even difficult for people who are citizens of the continent to travel throughout the continent because of all the restrictions. However, certain African countries allow easy or free access to particular Europeans. Yes, because I mean, a lot of them owe allegiance to the Europeans somehow because of colonialism. So yes, that's why some of them can easily. But even Africans within Africa becomes difficult when you get to a border. They waste your time for no apparent reason. But when an European gets there, sometimes they allow them. These are some of the things we need to check and stop that. But today I want to deal with the African Americans. Very very key. Protests for all people of African descent should have access just like Jews. Okay, so same comment here from Moe May Orlin. Okay, so Orlin, this is also from Orlin. Okay, so Orlin, unapologetically culture. Yeah, so that's very very true. It's a great point. Counting, hey, is it? Yeah. So Carl Owens. Is that Black Americans should be considered a protected class. I mean, I agree to a large extent. African Americans, when it comes to access to the continent to live and then also to do business, we need to really tackle them as a different set and not like everybody else. I think it's very 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 important that people understand that. Also, I have here that interesting perspective about Caribbeans. Yes, I mean that's the truth. I mean, it's very key for the Caribbeans as well. My wife is from Trinidad, but again, like I said, you have, in the Caribbean, they've built a community that connects more with Africa in the sense that Africa has a lot of alliances with the Caribbean countries that gives them access to be able to come and go even without visas as and when they want. So that is a very big step for people from the Caribbean. But when it comes to African Americans, specifically in America, it's a different ballgame altogether. So yeah, I appreciate that point, my sister, as well, Jay. All right, so I have another comment here before I run away. I understand for African Americans, but even the Caribbean, yes, it's home, but it is different. It is different when you weren't born there. That's also true. I mean, the Caribbeans, they must also check it, and I think sometimes massive protests can also help with that in Africa as well. I'm not talking about marriage for business, and definitely referring to when they find true love. Yes, when they find true love, it's a little easier. When you find true love in Ghana, Gambia, anywhere, of course, when you marry, your spouse is entitled more or less to be able to make a move. But even at that, okay, I wouldn't say that's not a difficult process. That's quite flexible and easy. It's when you're not married that it becomes difficult, but it should never be the case when it comes to African Americans. Is that I need to find that information about Caribbeans and having access to Africa without visas. Yes, you need to find it. It's out there. A lot of Caribbean countries have that alliance. Recently, Ghana especially was all over the Caribbean, building more stronger alliance and bringing awareness to the opportunities that people have to be able to make it to Africa. So that's hey, be great. Thank you for joining. So I appreciate everyone that joined today. I think I'm running. I wouldn't want to take too much of your time. So basically all I'm saying is that I'm making my case I'm making is that African countries, African leaders, African governments, African Union, ECOWAS should be able to have some laws that makes it easy for African Americans specifically to be able to get access to the continent, either to live or to do business. Because so far, the strict rules that they have is deterring people who should be making their way back to contribute to the continent from doing that. So I think it's very key for them to be able to have those flexible window for African Americans specifically to be able to make that transition. It is very, very key. And I also made a case that it is very key that if Africans in Africa want to show true solidarity to our brothers in the diaspora, especially African Americans, we have to begin to protest against our leaders. To tell them that, look, you have to be able to make it easy for our brothers and sisters to be able to make the transition and not just support when somebody dies and the world is crying out, but we should be able to give them that leeway. If they want to make a move, a transition, those who want to and have that second home, they should have easy access to be able to do that. Once they are cleared that they have good behavior, they should be able to do that without anything stopping them, without all the restrictions and barriers that they have. And if they want to do business and invest, it should be easy. All these quotas that they have, huge quotas. How can a normal African American who is doing a normal work get $200,000 or $500,000, $500,000? How can they do that? So these things are deterrent for people who genuinely care about the place and want to be involved with that. So God bless you all for joining. So please show us some solidarity Yes, they have to. We have, let me not say they have to. We have to show you some solidarity. And that's how we need to speak out more. We need to speak out more so people take action. Our leaders take action. All right. So God bless you so much for joining me. I think I'll put this video out, and then we could share, and then take it from there. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to be able to come your way again, hopefully with my co-founder. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Certified Africa. Follow us on Facebook at Certified Africa and on Instagram at Certified Africa. You can check out our website, certifiedafrica.com. We run trips to Ghana as well. We help people who want to move and want to start businesses. You can reach out to us as well at certifiedafrica@gmail.com. You can also call us and let's talk. Let's communicate. Let me see. I think I put my number on the screen. Put our number, Certified Africa number on the screen. You can always reach out to us. You can DM us on Instagram. God bless you, and we'll keep fighting until everything becomes smooth between the diaspora and then the African continent. All the best.